going on, everybody? Let me fix y'all up here. Alright, today is November the 1st. November the 1st. And I just wanted to give you guys an update on what transpired at my HSG Hysterosalpingogram procedure. And all I have to say is, see how my mouth was it was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. And for the person that told me, like, gave me heads up, and I know a lot of times when you research certain procedures online or whatever, you get all the horror stories or whatever the case may be. But you really do need to go into any procedure bracing yourself, you know, because you don't want to go in there happy, joy, and then it's just like boom, you like, like what the hell did I just get myself into? And so I was just like extremely nervous, like just beyond my brain nervous. And so I dropped my husband off at work, and I went straight to my mother's house because my mother was taking me. And so I got to my mother's house like, what, 6:45, you know, something like that. And you know, we talked or whatever, and I went to sleep because my appointment wasn't until 9:30, you know. And so she wanted to leave like 8:30. She wanted to be there an hour and a half early. I'm old school. She don't like to be late for nothing. No, but I told her, I was like, no, you know, because the procedure was held in a town in South Florida called Weston. And so we had to go to Weston, which is pretty much, I'll say, like a good 10 minutes away from where my mom lives. Because my mom lives in Miami, but she lives on the county line that separates Dade County from Broward County. So all she has to do is just hit. You know, for those of you who are from Florida or from South Florida, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't, you ain't gonna know nothing. All she has to do is just hit I-75 and take it straight to Weston. Exit 15, boom, she's there like 10 minutes. And so, you know, I was just like real quiet and just chilling or whatever, but I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh God, you know. And so my mom was like, oh, everything's gonna work out, you know. She was real chatty, like talking and, you know, trying to encourage me and everything, which was cool, you know. So when I got there, at first I went to the registration place. And I had to pay, of course. And let me tell y'all, I didn't say this in the last vlog. I don't know if I didn't mention it, but all of this is coming out of our pocket. All of this is being paid for by the Ropers. You feel what I'm saying? Nothing in this is covered by insurance, because our insurance, which we do have insurance, we've had insurance for a while now, it does not start until January. And so I was really anxious to get this, you know, whatever procedure that we need, but just anxious to go to the doctor and get things done and find out what was my issue. You know, when we, you know, got some extra cash, we just decided to go on ahead and take care of what we needed to take care of. And so, you know, to me, I feel like that was like money well spent and a great representation of using your money wisely, you know. But I'm keeping my receipts just in case I can deduct, you know, just in case I can deduct some of this stuff. So I'm keeping my receipts. So, But anyway, yeah. So I went and I paid, you know, my debit card and everything. I paid for the procedure, and then I went to the actual clinic, and then really beautiful place or whatever. And I sat in the waiting room, and I was so, when I got in there, when I sat down in that waiting room, it's just that like all the emotions just start coming, you know, on me. It was like 2 other couples in there already ahead of me. And, you know, I wasn't trying to cry, but tears was just coming out because I was just so emotional. Like, Lord, please let this work for me, you know, because I hope, you know, I hope this is, you know, I hope this works for me, you know, because we tried so long or whatever. And so, finally, 9:30 came and went, and I know that sometimes they'll schedule you, and your appointment will be like maybe 30 minutes later than what they actually scheduled you. So I was cool with just chilling out, And so at 10:15, my mother went to the receptionist and was asking, how much longer would we have to wait. And as soon as my mom was talking to the lady, they called me in. So what you do when as soon as they called me in, I'm trying to instruct y'all just in case, for those of you who haven't had the test done as of yet, you'll know exactly what you have to do. Please make sure you take a shower and get yourself all cleaned up, or whatever it is that you do to clean and make yourself fresh and so clean. You go on ahead and do that. When you get into the room was already, I was already in the procedure room. The procedure room had the long table with this contraption up top. It looked like an MRI table without the covering, without the covering over it. That's exactly what it looked like, because the table moves up and down, okay? But in the room, they also had a large bathroom, and so they had like a little table where they had a humongous robe that you have to, that opens in the back, of course, the regular hospital robe, and they give you socks, and you have to get naked, completely disrobed. And so I disrobed and everything, and I saw that there was a very large, back in the day, maxi pads, honey, those are the maxi pads. When I saw that maxi pad, I was like, well, hell, I didn't know they still make them things, them big things anymore. Because when I first started back in the day, back in '95, those pads was like diapers, and that's exactly what they have. I was like, oh God, I just already got nervous. Like, oh, how much bleeding they expected me to do? I said, okay, you know what, just whatever. So I was really nervous because I was trying to be like humble in spirit because of the experience that I had with the OB. I didn't know what attitude I was going to get, so I was just like, I'm just going to be super humble and just, go with the flow. Whatever they tell me to do, I was going to go ahead and do it. But this facility was like completely night and day from that Yahoo that I had to deal with as the OB. And so the nurse was extremely nice, so nice, just so nice. She was an older lady. She's like probably like my mom's age or whatever, and she got to talking to me and telling me about her daughter, and I mean, she just chatted me up, and I kind of like forgot why I was there. She was talking so much. I think that's probably what her strategy was to get me, And so when she was telling me about the procedure, I was like, oh, I already know. She's like, oh Lord, were you on the internet too? I was just like, well, yeah, yeah, I was on the internet. I know what's going on. And she was like, okay, but the internet, will scare the hell out of you. I said, yeah, I know that too, but nobody's gonna really tell me. You're not gonna tell me the real deal, so I have to find my information. Yeah, most of it may be inaccurate or a little exaggerated, but I still need to know whatever the case. And that's what I was saying in my head, because you don't know. And so, of course, she asked a series of, just basic questions about your personal business or whatever, personal stuff that they need to know, whatever. Have you been pregnant before, have abortion, stuff like that. And so, let me make sure I'm still recording, y'all. This thing sound like signing off. Anyway, so yeah. So then I was asking her, is the doctor nice, And she was like, he can be. I was like, oh God, another fool, So she was like, he can be nice. Oh, he's nice. And I was just like, oh God, I hope I have somebody with some sense, because this is, pap smear is one thing, this is another. You feel what I'm saying? So you need to be a little bit understanding and nice. And so they had me sit in the chair while she talked to me and everything. And then the lady, the nurse, she gave me a large like a blanket. I guess I didn't really use the blanket, I just held on to it. And so she gave me the blanket, I guess, to cover my legs or whatnot. And I love them socks, and them hospital socks, they got the little stuff on the bottom where you can walk around like pads. Them socks those are expensive socks, $5, $6. But anyway, she gave me those socks. So they had, thank God, they had like a little footstool, because I'm a midget, of course. And got up on the footstool and laid down on the bed, the examination bed or whatever. And so as soon as I laid down on the bed, the gentleman, the doctor came in, the radiologist, I guess that's what he is. He came in and he was just the sweetest thing in the world. He was really, he was an older gentleman, just really just sweet, older white guy. Ooh, so sweet. He grabbed my hand and he was like, "We're gonna take good care of you." He was just really I don't even tell you what he reminded me of. But anyway, he was just really sweet to me, just very sweet and gentle. And so he was like, I had to scoot my booty all the way up to the very edge, just like at the OB, and they had stirrups. Oh, my dad's calling. I'll call him right back. Anyway, I'm calling right back. So yeah, I had to put my foot in stirrups, and then he wiped my vaginal area with betadine, iodine, don't know. All I know is some solution. That's what they said, betadine, because they asked me ahead of time if I was allergic to it, and I was like, no, because I've never had that before in my life, so I don't know if I'm allergic to it or not. And it was cold as hell. It was freezing cold, but it was cool, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, but it was cool. So he wiped me down with that, and then before he did anything, he completely reiterated what the nurse had already explained to me before, which I appreciated. He took his time and he explained again, and he was letting me know that, you know, the speculum that he was using was a plastic one, because, you know, the other one is a little uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, so they use plastic speculums. And so I was like, okay, cool. You know, I don't have an issue with the speculum. You know, it's just, you know, you can place it gently. I'm cool with it. And so, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you the whole truth. I took 4 Tylenol, 4 extra strength Tylenol before I left. Like at 9 o'clock, like an hour before, like 30 minutes before I left to go to the facility, I took 4 extra strength Tylenol. Because I just wanted to be, I don't know if I thought it was gonna numb me, which it did not. You know, I was scared, you know what I'm saying? So, while he was putting things in me, the nurse started talking to me again. And so she was just talking, and I was like, oh, okay. And when he washed me up, I was like, ooh, that's kind of cold. And he was just like, okay. I said, yeah, but it's kind of refreshing. And so they was laughing like, oh, Lord. And so I didn't even feel him, excuse me. I didn't even feel him insert the speculum. He did it so fast while I was talking and laughing with the lady. He inserted the speculum, then he inserted this long, thin piece of something, and then he said that he was going to put a balloon up there. Now, before he did all of that, they took like a few pictures where you have to hold your breath. I don't know why you have to hold your breath, but they said hold your breath, and they took like 4 pictures of my pelvic area, which I thought was really cool because the screen was like right next to my face, so I could just turn and see what was going on. So after he put the speculum in and everything, he inserted the balloon. He told me, I'm inserting the balloon, and then I felt like a little uncomfortableness. I was like, ooh. I started like kind of like, ooh. I was like, ooh. He was like, just relax, just relax. So I was like, okay, you know. I felt like something was happening. So then he started to do the dye. He started to inject the dye. And so, Lord have mercy, it was just like, it felt like somebody was filling up my bladder, like just pouring water into my bladder. That's exactly what it felt like. But on the flip side, it felt as if it was filling up to capacity, and he was just like not gonna stop. And so the pressure that I felt was getting worse gradually, to the point where I felt like something in me was going to explode. And so I started freaking out. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a sharp, excruciating pain. It was a gradual pressure type pain that just kept, you know, exacerbating, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I felt like something was going to burst inside my body. That's how it was. And I just started, I couldn't help it, y'all. I was boo-hooing. I was just like, Lord, please. I was just like, Jesus, Lord. Woo. And, you know, I was just like crying. I couldn't help it. And the lady was just like, just breathe. Because I never felt nothing like that in my life. This is a completely new experience. I know pain. I have gone, you know, without Tylenol on my period for a long time, and I cramp horribly. So I felt like, okay, the cramping I can deal with. You feel what I'm saying? But what he was doing was something like, it was not that kind of excruciating pain. It was that pressure that just felt like he was going to blow up my damn uterus. And I was just like, and you could just feel it, because you know how the fallopian tube is like a T? You could feel all that, child. You could just feel it just coming. You could feel it moving. I was like, it's like the worst. I was like, I never felt no shit like that in my life. And I am not exaggerating. This is the whole truth and nothing but. You know, I always tell y'all, I will tell, you know, I will explain it. I will let y'all know as I experience it. This is not an exaggeration. This is the real truth, you know. And so I just felt everything, like things just going through me, and it just was like filling me up, and I was like, oh my God. And so at the point where I was starting to shake, he was like, okay, calm down. Let's just take a couple of minutes. And he got some tissue. I was just like, boo, crying. I ain't gonna lie, I am not ashamed that I cried, honey, because that shit hurts. So he grabbed my, he took some tissue, and he was like wiping my forehead, wiping my face. I guess he didn't want to touch my glasses or whatever because his hands were, you know. And so he was like, look at me. He said, I promise you, you are fine. You are going to be fine. Like he was trying to tell me something, but not really, because the nurse already warned me and was like, look, he's not going to tell you the results. He's not going to tell you anything. You have to get that from your doctor, so don't ask. So that's all she had to say. I asked him Jack, but he looked into my face and was like, I promise you, just let me get through it. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, calm down. And he was just like, I promise you, I'm going to get this done. And also the nurse did tell me that he's one of those doctors that if he does see like maybe a small blockage, he pushes the fluid through. He tries to unblock it himself by pushing the fluid through. And so I was grateful for that, because I was grateful for that, you know, because like if he sees any little, because sometimes it's just something small, you know, and by him, the force of him pushing the fluid, injecting the fluid, he tries to unblock it himself, you know. But like, you know, he don't, you know, that ain't nothing for you to, you know, tell nobody, but you know, that's just how he does it, you know. He don't just try to do the bare minimum and say, okay, well, the fluid didn't go through. He tries to push it through to unblock whatever is blocking it. If he can. If he can't, then, you know, whatever. So after I calmed down a little bit, the nurse, she had my hand on her heart, and she was just like, just breathe. And while she was talking to me, I didn't even see where he had left my side and was gone back. And I felt it again, but this time it was worse, child. I was just like, ooh, Jesus. I was calling on Jesus. I was calling on all the angels in heaven. I just knew I was going somewhere. I was going to be with the Lord. And I'm not playing. That's what happens. You know, when you grow up in church, child, that's just all you know. And so when you get into some trouble or something happen, that's all you know how to do is just call on Jesus. And that's what I know. And so that's what I was doing. I was calling on Jesus. And the doctor already knew, because the nurse was just like, oh, can I tell you Happy Halloween? I was like, no, because I don't celebrate Halloween, but to each his own, you know. I've learned to, you know, overlook what other people do, you know, that's just them, but I wasn't raised that way. And the doctor, I guess he was aware of, you know, the denomination that I grew up in, so he understood. And so he was just like, yeah, I don't celebrate that either. And so he was just like, you know, he was cool with it, but he just left it at that. And so, you know, it got worse. Like he was trying to like hurry up and do what he needed to do. So he just like whoosh, like he just shot me, and I was just like, I was crying. And it was literally like 10 minutes, and it was over and done with. It was not long at all. And so he was just like, I'm done. I'm removing the speculum. And as soon as he removed, because I had to, he gave me this like diaper type. It was like a pad that I had to lay on, but it looked like a pamper, you know. So I had to like lift up my hips, and he put it under me or whatever. That was like before the procedure. And so when he removed the speculum, I didn't even feel him remove the speculum. I didn't feel nothing. All I felt was just like a gush of relief and just like drainage after he was like I was just like peeing on myself. And so the nurse just ran, because I had already told them that my mother was a nurse and all that stuff like that. And so she was like, I'm gonna go get your mom. I'm gonna go get your mom. And so she ran into the waiting room. She ran because I was just like crying and shaking, and I was all, you know, all upset or whatever. And he came and he said, I promise you, you are fine. You are going to be fine. He said, you gonna come back and see me when you have them triplets? And I was just like, of course. He just made me smile when he said that. So I just, like, by him saying that, it just made me feel like everything was going to be okay, you know. But I was still, you know, emotional. And I was like, I'm sorry for crying. He was like, don't worry about it. I'm used to it. He said, I have a wife and I have 4 daughters. It's okay. I was like, oh, okay. But I just, you know, I apologize because I was just boo-hooing, child. I don't care. I would cry, you know. I ain't trying to be no rah-da-da, you know, try to be tough and no. If it hurts, I'm gonna cry. And I'm not getting no ulcers and no heart attacks because I'm keeping bottled up everything inside of me. No. So anyway, when my mom came in, oh, she was so nice to me, and she was just like, you know, she was just she helped me. Her and the nurse helped me get up, and I had to, like, you know, wrap that thing that I was laying on like a pamper, and as soon as I got up, everything was like whoosh, was like coming out. So, you know, I had to like I had to hold myself, you know, and go to the bathroom or whatever. And then my mom, you know, whenever she get around her like people, like nurses and medical professionals, she was talking to the doctor. You would have thought that she knew everybody. She was just talking to everybody. All I know, she was just like chumming it up with everybody. But that's how she is, you know. So I cleaned myself off in the bathroom, and I was bleeding, you know, just a little, you know, I was bleeding, you know, and it was that solution was coming out too. So, you know, I put on the pad and put on my clothes and everything, and my mom was talking to one of the nurses. Honey, child, by the time I'm finished talking to everybody, honey, by the time we left, everybody was hugging and kissing her like she was a long-lost friend. And so the lady was just like, well, y'all get to baby making, you know, give yourself a couple of days, you know, just in case, you know. So we're going to start Saturday, of course, you know. So she gave me some instructions, you know, take some Tylenol because you're going to experience some cramping and everything like that. And, you know, the doctor said, well, what are you going to? I said, well, what should I do today? Should I just lay around? He was like, no, just do what you normally do. Go have lunch, you know, hang out with your mom, you know, but, you know, take it easy, you know. And so, you know, that was the experience, and that is the true to the true. So we hung out, we had lunch, and then after lunch, I guess when my stomach was full, I just felt like really, really bad, like cramping. I still could feel something, like something draining out. Like I could feel it. You could feel it, you feel something draining out of you. And when I got home, you know, the pad had all of the solution, and it wasn't blood, it was that solution stuff, because it didn't look like blood to me, so I knew it wasn't blood. So I had to keep putting a pad on, you know, but it wasn't, you know, I changed my pad one time, and after that, then that was the end of it, you know. And so I took 2 Tylenol, and I laid down, took a nap for about 4 hours, and then I went home, and that was the end of it. And so that was my experience. And you know, and I know, and I did search YouTube to find out if other women had, you know, experiences similar to mine. And the only person that I found that didn't have any pain, you know, she was saying, oh, I didn't have any pain. Everybody said it was going to be so painful. I was just like, first of all, you're misrepresenting because you took like 80 Vicodin. She admitted that she took a bunch of Vicodin and all kind of hardcore drugs that only rich people or celebrities have access to like that without a prescription. You know, because I was like, well, how are you taking all them kind of drugs that they give? You got crazy drugs. She took like 2 different types of like, you know, drugs. You know, like hardcore drugs. I didn't know how she got that stuff. I could have used it back then. But yeah, so of course she didn't feel no pain because her ass was high. But everybody else pretty much had the same experience, you know, as I did. Some worse than me and some pretty much the same. So I felt like the experiences that you hear on YouTube are accurate because they tell you the truth. Even in the comments down below, you know, I am grateful. Because at first, you know, when one of y'all commented and was just like, let me tell you, it hurts. I was like, why would you tell me that? And I'm just like, and afterwards, I'm just like, yeah, you need to tell people that because you don't want anybody going into that exam with a false sense of euphoria, and that is not the way that it is. So today is Friday, November 1st. I think I said that already. So this won't get uploaded until Tuesday, you know, because I'm gonna probably insert, maybe not, I don't know, because we got our blood, we did our blood work and all that other stuff, and so we have to call for our results for the pap smear and all that on Tuesday, and then my husband's getting his sperm analysis on Saturday. So I wanted to wait to get the results of that, and then we see the doctor in 6 weeks from you know, this week. So yeah, so that was my experience. I hope I never have to do that ever again in life because I will not do it. I won't do it. It was just too much. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Let me know in the comments below, you know. For those of you who are getting ready to do it, please brace yourself. Don't walk up in there thinking that it's going to be, you know what I'm saying? Now, it may be cool for you, but just be on edge a little bit so you don't get shocked, you know. And I think it's okay for people to tell you the real so you don't become shocked about the experience. So anywho, I will talk to y'all later, and thank you guys so much for responding, and please subscribe because this is the journey, child. We on this ride together, honey, and I want y'all to be there from the start until the finish when I'm going into labor with, you know, baby Roper. So, you know, stick with me. It's going to be an interesting ride. So I will talk to y'all later. Peace and hair grease. Bye.